Hey everyone, my name is Sarah, aka Makeup Situation, and welcome to my channel and my first video. Before I get into it, I just wanted to say that I'm making this channel because I love makeup. I'm very passionate about it. It's something that helps me relieve stress and relax, and it's just really fun and exciting to me. I'm not a professional, I'm not a makeup artist, but I love learning about makeup, I love doing makeup, I love helping other people with makeup. So this is really just for fun, and I would love for it to be interactive and fun for everybody else too. I have not yet figured out a schedule for when I will be posting videos. I'm not sure how often it will be at this point, but I will keep everyone updated on that. I would also like to do live streams in the near future, just to kind of change things up, make it fun, and I think it'll be a great way for people in the makeup community to interact and help each other and just talk about makeup and have a good time. So let's get into today's video. I'm going to show y'all how I do my makeup for work. It can be a little challenging sometimes because I am a dental hygienist, so I wear a mask. I change it many times a day. It's always rubbing on your nose, on your cheeks, and sometimes it'll turn out like you take your mask off and the outside of your face looks great, but then all the makeup in the middle is rubbed off and it looks worse than if you had just not even worn makeup, and that sucks. So I've kind of figured out some techniques that counter that a little bit to help your makeup last longer, but also so that your makeup still looks good even if it does get rubbed off in those places, because inevitably it's gonna happen at some point during the day. So I'm going to show y'all how I do my makeup for work. So I like to keep it simple and quick. This is going to take longer for me to do in front of the camera because I'm going to talk about the products and how I'm using them and what I'm doing. But in real life, when I do this makeup routine before work, it takes me probably 10 minutes, maybe 15 if I'm being extra and doing other things too and getting distracted. But just know that this can be done very quickly and it's not something that takes a lot of time. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not wearing anything right now, but I'm going to prime my skin. If you don't have primer, it's fine. You just want to make sure your skin is moisturized. I'm using this tiny little Smashbox primerizer. I got it in the Sephora Play box, I think. I like it because I'm actually not like a big primer person, but it's like lightly hydrating. And when I wear my masks at work, it really dries out this part of my face. Even when I use like the sensitive masks, I'll get like dry patches on my nose, and so a hydrating primer is nice just to kind of have that extra layer there. So I am not a big full coverage person. I don't particularly love wearing full coverage foundations or concealers. And I found, especially at work, it's not the best idea. If you like full coverage and it works for you, even when you're at work, that's great, keep going with it. But I don't think it really works on my skin. I don't think it looks very good. It certainly doesn't look good after my mask has rubbed half of it off. So I've been doing this thing where instead of wearing like foundation, I actually just wear concealer. So I'll show you how I do it to make it not look weird, but I actually really like the Kylie Cosmetics concealer. I know a lot of people are not into her or her brand. they think it's a rip-off and that the products aren't very good. I'm not a fan of her liquid matte lipsticks. They're way too drying for me. But if you are in the market for a solid medium coverage, creamy, really nice concealer, you should definitely try hers. It's not drying, it's not too luminous or greasy or shiny looking. It blends beautifully. She has a bunch of shades, and for once I am not the lightest shade. I am the second to lightest, so I'm happy about that. And a lot of people compare her products to ColourPop, like it's just overpriced ColourPop. Her concealer, that's definitely not the case with her concealer. They're totally different formulas. So ColourPop's is definitely more full coverage and more matte. So it's kind of hard for me to use in the winter sometimes. So I start under my eyes here, like this. I just put a little under my eyes, and then I put some more like on my cheeks, and I do this in sections. I don't apply it all at once because I feel like it starts to set a little bit before you can blend it. So I'm using my beauty blender, and I kind of go under my eyes first and in the corner, and then I move down here and you want to make sure you get it out here so that you won't have any kind of weird line, and blend it down. I have a lot of pink in my skin, but even so, my cheeks just get really red on top of that. So I like to cover it a little bit, but if I cover it too much, then I just look silly, because the rest of my skin everywhere else is still pink. So that ends up looking really unnatural. And I love eyeshadow primers, but honestly it's quicker and easier to just use a concealer. Also, I don't want my eyelids to be the only thing that's like not covered on my face, like pink eyelids, and everywhere else is like white. Okay. So I don't like to use a lot, but I like to blend what I do use kind of as far as I can. You want to make sure that you go all the way out, like to your ear and like a little under your jawline, so that you don't have that nasty line of demarcation. I always get a lot of redness right here, so I put some extra there, and then I just do one swipe down my nose. Now you can adjust this based on your preferences. If you want to use a more full coverage concealer, you can do that. If you'd rather just use foundation, you can do that. You can play around with it and kind of see what you like, which is what I did, and this seems to be what works best for me. So basically I'm like turning my concealer into a foundation by doing this. Okay, sorry about that. Camera shut off. I think I figured it out. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. And I always just hold my hair out of the way. And yeah, I'm just doing this really randomly. Alright. So I'm just gonna check really quick and make sure everything looks blended. What is that? I don't know, guys. My skin is weird. I haven't totally figured it out. Okay. So then before you do anything else, you want to set this. Now, if you have like a mattifying setting powder that you like to use, that's fine. Put it wherever you usually would put it, but don't use that as your main setting powder. You're gonna want like a loose setting powder. I'm gonna use the ColourPop loose setting powder. I love the Laura Mercier one, but if that is not in your budget, I really like this ColourPop one. It's my runner-up to that. So I'm just gonna put some in the lid, and I kind of just sift it out so it's not all in one pile. And you can do this with your beauty blender, or you can do it with a brush, but just tap it in. I recently have liked doing it with a beauty blender more than a brush. I feel like the brush will sometimes move my makeup around, and I've tried it with all different kinds of brushes and it still happens, so I don't know. I don't know if it's my makeup, if it's my skin, if I just am really bad doing makeup. I don't know. So when you set it, you want to make sure that it looks good. So like if you feel like it's already started to crease, just kind of blend it out and then set it. And definitely set your eyelids as well. Also, let's all try and forgive my hair for its sins because it looks ridiculous today. Okay, so if you do want to use a brush, I have this one. It's Real Techniques. It's just big and fluffy. I would suggest a brush like this, and just put it on the same way that I did with a beauty blender. Just kind of tap it on. Okay, so the next thing is bronzer or contour, however you want to kind of look at it. I have to be careful with bronzer because I'm so pale and I'm very cool toned, so anything dark or very golden looks ridiculous on me. I also have to be careful with things that are not warm enough because it'll look like I actually put dirt on my face. So my favorite right now is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It's inexpensive, it blends out really well, and it's a beautiful color. I actually have, it's just like the regular bronzer shade. They have one that's, I think it's called Light Bronze. I tried it and I didn't like it as much because even though it's lighter, it, at least on my skin, translates even warmer, and so it doesn't look good at all. So I don't have like a big forehead to where I feel like it needs to be contoured, but I think it looks really strange when I contour everywhere else but there, so it just kind of makes everything look better. Also, this is not a precise nose contour, but it's pretty, it looks fine. It adds a little depth and warmth, and it's good. You can put a little under here if you want. I usually do, I don't know if it does anything, but whatever. So then I like to do blush next. Some people like to do their highlighter after bronzer and then their blush last. It's just a preference. I'll do it both ways. It doesn't really make a big difference to me. And I am using the Flower Beauty. This is Wild Rose. I'm actually not going to do highlighter yet. I'm going to do that later. Alright. So now this is when I do my eyes, and I do it really simple. I have this tiny little palette from Smashbox. This is in the shade Nudie Pick Medium. I got this on sale. It was like, I don't know, 40 or 50% off, and I'm not mad that I got it. I use it a lot because it's just very basic and quick and easy and small, but it's not the best quality eyeshadow. It's not very pigmented. It's very powdery, and it's one of those things where I think it only shows up on me because I'm so pale. You can find honestly much better eyeshadow at a better price at half off or whatever it was. This was like $13, so you can definitely go on the drugstore side of Ulta and find something better. But I was really curious about them because I think they're really cute. So you can use whatever you have, and I'm just taking the lightest shade and just getting it all over my brush, tap it off, and I'm just kind of putting it basically all over my lid, mostly just like the inside half of it though. Now this shade, this light shade, is essentially working as like a setting powder for me on my eyelids. You can do a slightly darker color if you want. It's just up to you. So then I'm going to take the medium shade, tap it off. See, it's like and I'm just going to go into my crease. It's just so powdery, like you lose like half of it. And honestly, if you have a bronzer, you can just use this as like your eye contour shade. If you just want to be really simple with it. And then, so I take that same medium shade on the same brush, and I kind of like pinch it so it's like flattened a little. And I go under here. And that just, I have kind of like small eyes, so that helps them look a little bigger, adds some dimension. Eyeliner is not my friend, so this is like my alternative. Okay, there's a darker shade here, Sometimes I go into it if I'm feeling like extra dramatic that day, but I don't usually. It's not necessary. I don't want to look like too much for work a lot of the time. So, okay. I'm going to do brows now. And I'm just trying to be quick in the morning and just have my eyebrows like look polished but not overdone. I mostly just go along the lower line of my eyebrow. So I start like right here, like where it kind of starts to go up. And I like to be soft with it at first. If I want to make it more defined, I can do that later. But after I do that area, then I do the front here. And I just am like really light with it. And I flip it and use the spoolie. And blend it through. What I like about this is if you mess up, like if you do it too dark in one spot, you can take the spoolie and just go over it a few times and it like fixes it. I'll do a little bit up here too, just kind of like, see, like I just like spaz out or something. I just do a little outline up here and add, I feel like I get like almost these tiny little bald spots right here on my eyebrow, so I'll just put a little bit extra right there. Alright, so it doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be super even. I'm just adding a little definition and shape to them. And then, this is like my favorite thing ever. So this is by Essence. Again, you can get this at Ulta. It's called Make Me Brow. It's a brow gel. It's like a dupe for the Benefit Gimme Brow, I think it's called. So it's a colored gel, but it also has like the little volumizing fibers in it. And I have blonde. So it's like it adds color but not too much. And the best part about it is I think this is like $2.99. So sometimes if I'm even more in a hurry or I just don't feel like going through the trouble of using my pencil, my brow pencil, I'll just use this and it turns out fine. Sometimes afterwards, like I'm doing right now, I'll go in with just this regular spoolie because I want to like adjust them without that continuously adding more gel. So now we're gonna do mascara. So I actually like to do my lower lashes first. I think it's because of my eye shape and how they're I have hooded eyes. When I do my upper eyelashes and then I have to like put my head down to do my lower lashes, it totally takes the curl out of my upper lashes. So I do my lower ones first. So I use two different mascaras because I absolutely love this. This is the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir, I think it's called. It's so good, but sometimes it clumps my lashes together and I just can't get them to like separate using this wand. So this is just a regular CoverGirl mascara, and it has the like plastic, really tiny teeth on the wand, so, or comb, whatever, so it separates them for me. So if I was doing my makeup for something that's not work, I would go a little more all out with my mascara and make it like a little heavier, but I don't want to look like I'm wearing a lot of makeup. I just want it to look clean and professional. So then I go through here, and this again helps separate them and kind of spread that mascara more evenly without making it thicker. And I always get a little mascara on my eyelids, so if you get mascara on your skin, let it dry, take a Q-tip and wipe it off, because when it's dry it's not going to like smear anymore. And then if there is a little more residue, you can get you know, like some makeup remover on the other end of the Q-tip and just kind of wipe it off. Okay, so now I'm gonna do highlighter. This is the Maybelline, the Nikki Tutorials shade. So sometimes I like to be more bold with my highlighter than others. It just kind of depends on what mood I'm in, but this is a good, like, you can apply a little bit and just get a subtle glow, or you can really go all out with it. And then I like to take the big fluffy brush and just blend it out. I think it makes your makeup look way more cohesive. It blends like your blush and bronzer and highlight a little bit so that it's nothing about your highlight is like too harsh. And then I take this little pencil brush and the same highlighter, and I do a little bit on the inner corner here. And a little bit under my brows. And then this is one of the most important steps, especially if you're trying to protect your makeup from your mask, and that is a setting spray. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter, which is like the setting spray. Honestly, I have one from Maybelline that works more or less just as well. I can't notice that big of a difference, so I like to hold my hair back because I feel like it gets nasty when it's in my hair. And then our last step is gonna be lips. So I do not like wearing lipstick or any kind of gloss or anything to work. I think it's gross, it doesn't feel good, and when you have a mask on over it, it's just gross. So I just do a lip balm with some color in it. This is the Sugar from Fresh. You can get it at Sephora, or you can use a much cheaper one. I think I got this again in a play box. So it just adds some moisture, some glow, and a tiny bit of color. So that's it. That's how I do my makeup for work. I throw my hair back and I'm good to go. I just like for it to be clean, simple, easy, and once you're actually doing this yourself, it's super fast. Thanks for coming to my channel and watching my first video, and I will see y'all soon.